Have you ever just had a light bulb moment where things seem to fit together a little too well? See, I acknowledge, some of my theories on this channel do stretch things a little too far. I try to make connections that are definitely there in premise, but just miss on a couple of marks. It's not a deliberate thing, more of a hey listen getting excited about an idea kind of thing. One thing that never really stops though is my desire to research this and every other Zelda game. Research doesn't always prepare you though for what you'll find. And I'm not going to lie, what I found in researching a future episode absolutely blew me away. So without further ado my friends, today I'm going to solve the single biggest mystery left in Tears of the Kingdom. Now I know, everyone has solved this mystery with differing effects. But no, I have actual proof of the lineage of the one character in the Wild series that has been debated for the last 7 years. Today we lift back the hood and solve the mystery of the ancient hero.
Hey, listen!
Before we start, there will be spoilers from the end of Tears of the Kingdom, the final rewards for finishing all of the shrines, and all of the story points inside of this video. If you've not finished the game yet, you can join in on a less spoilery video, like this one here. We first caught a glimpse of this hero in the ancient tapestry at the start of Breath of the Wild. He is stood in the middle of a battlefield, surrounded by guardians fighting a gigantic version of Ganon. It would appear as if he's fighting Calamity Ganon, though Calamity Ganon shockingly is nothing like this character. This character in the centre has the big bushy red beard and hair, a trait he has as Spider Ganon, which is not how he's pictured in this tapestry, but does not have as Dark Beast Ganon as all of his hair has become purple flame. He doesn't resemble a giant boar or a spider hybrid here, and actually if we look at his overall shape, it's not perfect, but he more resembles what Ganondorf resembles by the very end of Tears of the Kingdom, a dragon. He is also massive in comparison to the character here, who with a blue sword in hand, one can only assume is the Master Sword, stands toe to toe with the head of this beast. Isn't that funny? It's almost like they planned you'd stab a giant dragon version of Ganondorf clearly through the head even all that time ago. The character here though is interesting. At the time we had so little to go on, we assumed it was a really badly drawn version of Ganondorf, but that wouldn't make sense unless we were willing to open up a paradox. But I don't think that's the case here at all. This character is made up of a giant orange mane that runs halfway down his back, a blue set of armour and bright blue eyes. It's pretty small and hard to see, but this is, as the legends say, the ancient hero, the one who fought in the very first Calamity. The first Calamity saw the ancient Sheikah technology be used along with a sacred power and the Blade of Evil's Bane to seal away the evil Calamity Ganon inside of Hyrule Castle, presumably back inside of the seal made by Rauru some considerable years beforehand. At first glance we look at this character and think we see an incarnation of Link, but while the armour is blue, the hair doesn't suit his normal blonde locks. Though that wouldn't be the first time, and so the rumours started swirling online about who this red-haired warrior was. The theories ran wild. He must be Ganondorf. Only Ganondorf has hair like that, they all said. And then came along this trailer for Tears of the Kingdom that slapped this theory into the mud, as we see Ganondorf sealed underground via some sort of magic. It is revealed within the first few scenes of Tears of the Kingdom that this is underneath Hyrule Castle, the same place where the Calamity Ganon was sealed. So that debunks that idea. The ancient hero and Ganondorf are not the same person. How could he be up here fighting on the surface level, and how can he hold the Master Sword as a chosen one of the lights, when he is clearly buried here, and is as evil does? Then Tears of the Kingdom did this. They included as a final prize for beating all 152 shrines a new outfit for Link. This one was less to do with the perks of the armour, and more to do with that sweet lore. Here he is, in all of his 3D glory, the ancient hero. Or at least his aspect. So then, thoughts of the ancient hero being Ganondorf then shifted, and suddenly our ancient hero must be Zonai because, well, that just makes sense, right? They clearly have a similar skin tone, they're both clearly an alien race. But this idea fizzled out as quickly as it started, purely because certain points of interest do not line up between the Zonai and this character. Now as a community, we're stuck. They can't be Ganondorf, it makes no sense. They can't be Zonai, as they don't match what we already know about the appearance of the Zonai. So just what is the ancient hero's aspect? Let's bring up our ancient hero now. A full body image of him. No, wait, that's a subscribe button. God damn it, they turn it right when you don't want them, don't they? Right in the middle of a video, some annoying guy over the top of it tells you to subscribe and hit the like button You think about it and nearly do it, and then you change your mind, and then he tells you that he is so close to 1,000 subscribers and he will love you forever if you just press that little button that helps him get closer to that target by October the 25th. That was nice and subtle. Oh, and look, the button's gone and we're left with our ancient hero. Well, let's analyse then, from the bottom up. First, we've got a bipedal character on our hands here. There's interestingly 4 toes on each foot as opposed to 5 on what seemed to be every other race. Even the Zonai appear to have 5 toes, so I can only chalk this down to some kind of evolutionary upgrade for the Hylians as they progress through 20 or so thousand years. We work our way up his grey-skinned legs and see this thing hanging from between his legs. It's a tail with a bright red bulbous tip. This may be why everyone is so set on it being Ganondorf, as this tail appears to look suspiciously like the tail that Beast Ganon has in Ocarina of Time. We go further up and we have a tacet of what seems to be stone, in the shapes of an owl at the top and a boar at the bottom, clear depictions of wisdom and power. The middle piece here kind of looks a bit more like a pig than anything else, but that doesn't make the game imagery of anything involving courage. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom use dragons to symbolise courage. I guess if we squint that we could maybe make a dragon out of this? Maybe? Heading up further, we see that they have the Zonai design on both arms. One is a current design, and is likely just where the costume ends for Link to poke the arm out of. But the right side is done incredibly deliberately to look dead on like the deactivated Zonai arm. Could it be possible that they had 2 arms, both with Zonai powers? Where the arms rest is a small white skirt embossed with gold triangular stitches. These are a clear nod towards Triforce pieces, and this isn't even the first time we've seen this in this game, as even Toga Link's Toga has these at the bottom. We've now got their torso, which like Link has the markings on them of extensive gloom damage. There are these markings that look like the markings Link has on his shoulder. These are more intense and look more like tribal patterns than anything, but I can't help but feel like this feels incredibly familiar. On their bicep area are 2 bands made of stone with dragon heads forming out of the sides. There's our courage reference. We now move across to the neck area where they adorn this incredible piece of jewellery that looks like a cuff, made from several circles that go around the neck, and then this intricate collar with what looks like a Sheikah eye in the middle of it. Finally, we get to the hair and face, with long elven ears, giant hoops for earrings, bright red hair and eyebrows, electric blue eyes and a golden headdress, with a blue gemstone set in the middle of it. There is a lot of detail here, so let's start to tie things up, rule things out and form ourselves a definitive decision on just who this is. So before we can start on working out who this is, we need to work out who it isn't. I mentioned it earlier on, but looking at its physical appearance, I can see why people think this is Ganondorf. I mean, the red hair, the golden jewellery, the giant red tail hanging between his legs. But I'm telling you right now that this is not Ganondorf in any way, shape or form. For a start, what I said earlier applies still. Ganondorf is firmly underneath Hyrule Castle at the time of the Calamity. He's been sealed generations ago by Rauru. He's held by an ancient magic that physically stops him from moving. Yes, his hate can still manifest into giant purple clouds shaped like dragons, and he can still summon phantoms to do his bidding, but he is not capable of getting out from underneath Hyrule Castle on his own. As he's under the castle and not dead, he can't be resurrected as per Demise's curse. So guess what? At the time of the ancient hero, Ganondorf was still underneath the castle. He's not been reborn as a new manifestation of hatred. He's there, in his little cavity stuck in place by a green arm. Not only that, but Ganondorf can't wield the blade, because it's his literal nemesis, the Blade of Evil's Bane. And that wouldn't actually be a problem if this armor set didn't directly impact the Master Sword and give it a sword beam ability. Finally, let's just stop and ask a very simple question. Why would Ganondorf set out to destroy his own creation, the Calamity? He has stewed on his hatred for tens of thousands of years. As the hatred seeps out of him in the form of malice and then later gloom, it would be safe to say that Ganondorf was conscious, able to torture himself with thoughts about how he failed against a dragon goat lord, and that hatred as a result would only grow. The argument that the ancient hero was any version of Ganondorf makes absolutely zero sense, so I'll take this opportunity right now to classify this one as debunked. Now the Zonai. That seems more like it, right? Right? Well, this creature looks nothing like a Zonai at all. And yeah, okay, so not all Zonai look the same. In just the 2 we see here, Minoru and Rauru, Minoru resembles more of a hare or a rabbit than Rauru, who seems to look a little bit more like a goat. These animals are then spliced with humanoid and dragon to form these really strange abominations. But there is absolutely zero sign of dragon here. Even the tail here goes completely against the idea of this character being dragon related whatsoever. There's no scaling, only skin. Blackened skin at that. Remember when I said earlier on that it looked familiar with the tribal patterns, the arm and the blackening of the skin? This ancient hero was indeed in a war with Ganon in some respect or another. But I think things did not go as smoothly as the Tapestry of Legend tells us it did. It wasn't as simple as Zelda sealed Ganon while the ancient hero delivered the final blow. There was a twist in the tale, and that twist was this. The ancient hero may well have succeeded at sealing the evil, but it came at a cost. The cost was that he was so severely attacked by gloom, by malice, by whatever you want to call this pink and purple sludge, that it burned his entire body. His face, arms, body, legs, feet, all impacted by the gloom damage. All of it burned by this festering evil. This is shown in the tapestry itself. When we zoom in ultra close and look at Zelda, we can see her skin tone. Exactly the same skin tone is seen on the face of the hero. But if this was at the same point in time as the hero's aspect, then you would expect the face to look darker. This means that somehow the hero's skin colour was altered, and we see this firsthand in the arm and shoulder of our current hero of the kingdom. So they're not Zonai, and definitely not Ganondorf, and have had their skin turned to char by the malice or gloom. That's pretty much what we've worked out so far. But now we need to uncover the very last piece of this heroic puzzle. The easiest way to work out this hero's identity, or at least what they were to the lands of Hyrule, is to go by the most unreliable source, their appearance. Only after you beat all of the shrines does this unlock, and it unlocks via Rauru speaking to you, telling you to go back to the Temple of Time to obtain your reward. This came directly from Rauru, who clearly was alive. Well, until he wasn't, but in ethereal form seems to have been overseeing Hyrule for many generations. The argument here is that this outfit was made based on the image of the hero that Rauru had, and so it was likely an accurate depiction. So let's take a look then. Earlier on I described this hero to within an inch, and I just want to pick up on a few points of interest. We've covered the blackened skin, and it's also likely that Rauru gifted the Zonai arm to the hero, based on the fact that the hero likely fell to the gloom during the fights. But our other artifact here, I want to pick on the ancient hero's face, head and neck area. This, I think, is the biggest tell as to where this character belongs. Scanning from the top of the head downwards, let's start at this bright red hair. I can see completely why Ganondorf was the first thought for so many players, as he literally embodies this red hue with his hair. But he is not the only one in the series, nor in Tears of the Kingdom even, with bright red hair. We scan down further and see this head jewel, something again reminiscent of the King of Evil. But again, a headdress like this exists elsewhere, not just on the head of the evil king. Where are they seen though? Oh yeah, that's right. On this young lady here, Riju. Oh, and on this now deceased young lady, Urbosa. If we want further evidence though, these massive golden hoop earrings. Look at who wears these. Urbosa. Oh, and then there's this gold band around the neck. Aside from it being made up of 5 rings and Riju's being made up of 3, this really isn't far off in terms of design. These artifacts are passed down, it would seem, through Gerudo leadership. The leaders of Gerudo Town always seem to be covered in this golden jewellery. This cannot be a coincidence, right? The character model looks like Ganondorf, but it can't be because Ganondorf exists at the same time as this character. And this character is virtuous, but Ganondorf is anything but. However, this character could be Gerudo. Have any of you noticed how I've tried to be gender neutral in this video? I've avoided using male pronouns, and I've done it for a very good reason. Not because this character model looks like they could be non-binary, but because I don't think that this character can actually be male. Hear me out, I think this is a bit of a wild one. But Ganondorf exists in this world. Only one male is born to the Gerudo every 100 years, but that's on the provision that Ganondorf dies first. This means that if this character is Gerudo, and they most certainly appear to be, that they cannot be male, and in fact due to their jewellery they almost have to be the leader of the Gerudo. This would mean that this scene where the Gerudo side with Rauru and Tears of the Kingdom was not the first time where the Gerudo swapped sides, where they went against their King of Evil, and in fact, our ancient hero here who led Gerudo Town turned their back on the evil king during the first calamity, and sealed the evil away underneath Hyrule Castle. Phew, I think I need a rest after all of that. Oh, and hey look, we're at the end of the theory and at the end of the video. I really can't wait to hear what you have to say about this theory, so please get involved, leave a comment and tell me just how wrong I really am. Or not, who knows this time. Once you've done that, hit the subscribe button and help this video be the one to knock us over the 1,000 mark, and then smash the like button and help this video on YouTube's algorithm of madness. I'll see you next time. Bye!